Hello everyone and welcome back to the Emperor BTC channel. Today's video will be an altcoin market update video. We'll take a quick look at a couple of the majors like ETH and Solana and then some of your suggestions. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So quickly just to go over the price action on ETH that has already occurred, we had this consolidation which was quite nice given it was in and around the 618 of this move, in around that region. Then we finally broke up, came back down. This is where I had an initial long at this key SNR zone, and then of course this previous range resistance looking to act as support. Then first initial TP in and around this resistance zone. Why? Because we had this level here which acted as support, bearish retest, bearish retest, bearish retest again. So we got into it. I had some caution, took profits with stops at break even. We broke down, then we came back up into the key SNR zone. Again, similar to this trade here, when we broke down through, we had the confluence of the range high. So we started to find resistance there on the initial, and then on the retracement, resistance again. Of course, quite a severe drop from there, taking out all of the resting liquidity here. And now at the moment we are at range lows of course this low over here, and then we are inside this key SNR zone, which is quite significant. It was support here on the first run to a new all-time high, so we just kind of SFP'd the previous all-time high on ETH. But this zone is quite important given that we've had resistance here and then on numerous occasions on the left hand side of the chart here, and if I go further over you'll see another 2 occasions. So it's quite a significant higher time frame key SNR zone, and we're in that right now in confluence with this SFP of this low. So we're kind of deviating, hopefully would be the idea, inside this key SNR zone with of course this previous high over here, which could potentially be another confluence area. So just to clean up the chart to make, I guess, these ideas look a little bit clearer and concise, if this is our range low, this is our range high, this is probably one of the best areas to look to add to longs, in my opinion, given the confluence, first and foremost, and second, that you're buying when selling is at an extreme, in vice versa to most people who buy high and sell low. What we want to do is we want to buy low and hopefully sell high. So these are the sort of positions I'm happy to enter, and if I'm wrong, that's fine. I can look to mitigate my risk on a retracement here with some stops of course below. So an area for concern on a bounce, and similar to BTC, might be ideal for scalp shorts in conjunction with say spot longs, is if we were to bounce here, could look to have some take profits in this region, and then if we were to get something like this, could look to scale into shorts to mitigate risk on spot longs if we were to get a continuation on this current downward spiral. So moving on to Solana, we just start quickly on the higher time frame, so this key higher time frame level is more apparent. We have this key SNR level which is extended across, which we got into after quite a nice run up, and we began to form a range in and around that region. So we kind of had this short-term low, push up into it, drop down, got a nice deviation outside, and then we came up and had this really clean SFP, drop down, and then in and around the mid-range point of this lower time frame range in conjunction with the key higher time frame level, we got the bearish kind of underside retest for quite an aggressive move down. And this key SNR zone was an area I was really interested in looking for spot positions and looking to enter some longs. But similar with ETH, one of the key things about a key SNR zone or any level in general is how price moves into it. So when you have a really aggressive high volume kind of drop back down like this, sometimes you get quite a quick mean reversion. But as the saying goes, you don't want to be the person looking to catch a falling knife. So we kind of got a little bit of support in that region, but it was short lived with no real momentum when we got there. So I didn't look to enter in any positions. And even at that, I think we would have found massive resistance in this region, and we still might do in the future if we get back into that level. But for now, we've had this kind of bearish underside retest of the key SNR zone and acceptance back inside this range. We're in and around that mid-range point. But again, like ETH, I think Solana has been a little bit weaker, especially after such a nice run up, which has pretty much been fully retraced since that 200 level, and no real significant move towards all-time high, just short of that 300 mark. So it's been quite weak, and I think we could see a continuation down until around this $187 level, given that we've got acceptance back inside this range and we're still in the premium of this range, so above the mid-range point. So looking for discounted prices for Solana sub 200 and into that 187k region. So ENA is a coin we've covered a lot, and again I had some requests to go through it. So we had this SFP at range highs, and we had this mid-range point key SNR zone where we were potentially looking for some sort of reaction on the retracement, especially given that it was quite controlled on the way down and it wasn't too aggressive. We initially bounced, and I believe there was some good news here on a deployment of some sort of contract that they had, and after it there seemed to be massive amounts of insider selling, whether from the team or others, which caused this movement through the level, and then of course this bearish retest on the way back up, and of course it's been quite aggressive down since then. And even through these lows on the initial retracement, we've got a bearish underside retest. That being said, it isn't a bad area to look for some long-term spot positions, given that we are, again, similar with ETH, in and around range lows and below range lows. And of course, things could go from bad to worse and it continues down, but it is quite low risk given it is such a discounted price. Same way people were looking to buy the breakout here and looking to ride this to new all-time highs. Similar down here, this could simply be a simple range play of range deviation to range deviation, and then look for price to push up, get acceptance back inside. That could be the trigger, and then look to long towards this key SNR zone as the first and foremost, and then of course beyond if possible. I had a lot of requests to take a look at Hype, which is Hyperliquid's token. It's had a really nice run up with this clear resistance level that finally got broke through, and it seemed here that this was going to be the next leg up, similar to this one. And of course, it's not gone exactly as planned, with nearly a straight week of down candles. And since all-time highs, it's down about 30%. Also, you can see here, if I was to drop down onto, say, the 4-hour time frame, you kind of got this bearish retest back inside this key SNR zone. All that being said, it is probably in and around as good as a level to start to form some sort of bottom, even if that looks like a prolonged period of sideways price action. Similar to ENA, spot wise, it's probably not in a terrible position. And even if you were to get in and around this region for an additional position to ladder in, as long as you don't get some sort of bearish retest, of course. But I think if we were up here, I would still say that this level would probably be the next key SNR zone to look for long-term buys or spot plays. So being here now, I guess, is just kind of lucky for the video. Of course, last but not least, Pump USDT, which is Pump Fund's token. We've covered it on numerous occasions. It broke its all-time high after forming quite a long consolidated bottom. This really nice run up. Even tried to flip it here, but got kind of the bearish retest of this, I guess, distribution above range highs. Dropped down, and now really looking at it from a higher time frame perspective, so say the daily, given it's been such an extreme run, and of course it's still a new token, so there's not a whole load of price action to go off, and a lot of the levels have already been, I guess, used lower down on the run back up. I would consider, I guess, this region as a whole maybe a nice area to look for some spot buys. Also, given it's probably in confluence with the 618 level, which with all coins can be quite nice. So we're in around that 618 level now, so it's getting into a nice discounted price. So I think just for an additional confluence, it might be nice to wait for something like this, especially in this region, because this was kind of the longer range which formed the bottom, which tends to be a nice region to look for some buys. So that's all for today's market update video. I hope you enjoyed and it was insightful. Please leave a like on the video and comment below what altcoins you're watching and what you think on the current price action and current market conditions. And I'll see you guys in the next one.